gentlemen, and here we are back again onto the draft phase. And this is the best of three between Team Astral Genesis and Team Giyattt. And with that, both the teams do have 1 point to the name, so this third match will be the matchmaking point. It will decide that which team will be going home and which team will be moving us ahead with us onto this tournament. And with that, once again, I am your caster Asiya, joined in by Ray. So, Ray, what do you think? What could be the draft? Because you did criticize the draft in the previous game quite a lot. So, do you think that will they learn it and ban out like pretty more sensible picks in this game?
Yeah, hopefully, because first game, Astral Genesis, they played. I feel like that, just like you mentioned, that was a testing the waters kind of match. Because I felt like they were holding back because they knew that Team Giyattt would be underestimating them, and that is basically what happened. Because of it, Team Giyattt, they banned out Kufra and Zaz, two heroes that you would never see in the ban section anymore, because they're really situational picks and can really only work with situational drafts. And it did not make sense why they banned those heroes out instead of the Gatotkacha or the Granger, because it's so likely those heroes are going to get picked this time because they were open and you utilize them. So I did not understand what sense they were going for. So because of it, hopefully Kim Kiat has learned their mistake, because right now, this time, they are the second pick, so they have the upper hand. But anyways, Astral Genesis, a great draft onto the previous game, and I feel like this game as well, they can pull off something really good.
I mean, true, Bruno is open. Then again, Bruno was picked up in the first game, and like he couldn't do much like in the second game, but the impact wasn't enough, especially because the team draft wasn't sensible enough. So let's just see, will Astral Genesis go in for Bruno? But no, they will be going in, locking down onto the Alpha. I think Alpha is a great pick because not only does he have that early game aggro, the early game sustain, the speed which he has coming from the farm, he can also dish out a lot of damage, especially towards the late game too, with the true damage he has. If the enemy goes in for a lot of tanky heroes like a Hylos, wait, Hylos is banned out. Like even if they decide to go in for a lot of tanky picks, maybe a Gatot Kacha. So Alpha can counter out quite a lot.
Indeed, actually, yeah. And we'll have to wait out and see what they're going to be picking up. All right. This time, they do, Team Gyat have the second pick. So at the same time, Astral Genesis, they are going in with their good old Reliable. And finally, look at them. Team Gyat, finally, they understood that in the previous game, Ranger and Gatot were the bigger threats that they were facing. And because of it, they'll be picking it up. But at the same time, Team Astral Genesis, they are just picking up all the heroes that also carried them into the previous game, the Xavier, as well as the Bruno coming into play. But I would have really loved to see that Kiat would pick up the Lolita, right? A little bit later on, not right now, a little bit later, so they can easily counter out this Xavier and Bruno. Let's see what happens, right?
I mean, Lolita, of course, she's actually the best counter towards the Granger because even I, whenever I go into the ranks and there is a Granger, I just pick a Lolita. And yes, the bomb has been defused. And finally, I was screaming in the first game why a Hilda hasn't been picked up. And finally, Team Yard will be going in for this Queen, our wild Queen right there. And just look at them. The early game, once again, from the side of Team Gyat looks to be amazing. Meanwhile, Astrogenesis, they really need to counter out our Hilda and also the Gatot Kacha because Xavier needs farm, Bruno needs farm, and if Alpha isn't able to snowball the game, if they're not able to provide the time and space which these two people, the main damage dealers, need to have before they start to dish out some damage, then Astrogenesis might be in a clutch.
Indeed, Asya, this time overall, Team Gyat, they're looking like they're going in guns blazing, picking up the Hilda finally, a hero that has been left out open for last two games. They did not pick it, but this time she's coming into play, and let's see what she can do into this game, because after all, it would depend on the player's aggression as well as the defensive play, because you really want to make sure you're playing aggressive, but at the same time, you're not going overboard with it. But all right, looking at the draft this time, especially into the band section, I'm seeing a Carmilla coming into the play. Something you not really see, but is that Carmilla a precaution? Because Team Gyat, are they looking to pick up a chip, or is this a bait for Astral Genesis to pick up a chip?
We'll never know because just look at the two CC heroes. The wide area CC's has been banned away, and Chip is open just like you said. And if Chip uses the teleports, the shortcut, and if your team does have a Carmela or a Tigreal, it will be kind of a free implosion, free cursive blood for them onto a lot of people. So it might be a bait because even we are getting baited at this point, not gonna lie. But then again, the Suyo is open, so no wait, Suyo has been banned out. Choi has also been banned out. So I'm kind of curious as to what will be the jungler pick from the side of Team Gyat. They might even go in for Bane, but then like Bane can counter out the Alpha, but the range which will be coming in from the Bruno and Xavier cannot be countered out. So maybe picking up a Farsa could actually be a really great pick here because AOTG they can dive in. Hilda can also be the one who is initiating, trying to tag out for a while, and then the artillery coming in form of Farsa can be a really great for the team card. But then they will be going in for Vexana. Well, she is a queen after all, a great damage dealer. The lane clear is really fast, but
Mhm.
I really prefer to see a Farsa.
Yeah, Arsa could have, yeah, really played into the well for Team Yacht, especially because they have the go to Kacha, but it looks like we'll get denied of it. They're just picking up the Vexana for a precaution for high loss, if I'm not wrong, because they just want to make sure there is no high loss or horror business is coming into the play here. And because of it, I feel like that is just a safety option. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to what is going to be the last two picks because I feel like the chip is still quite open. Is this a bait or a bait or not? We'll have to find out soon. So far, I think, yeah, they have their jungler left out open, and Fredrin is still left. I feel like Fredrin really performed well, but it's just the team composition was a little lacking, and the opposing team just had it better overall draft. And due to that, the effectiveness was not coming. But okay, Astral Genesis, they're coming up with the Kufra and a Phobius. Pretty interesting coming into the play. I was criticizing them for, you know, not banning out Kufra, sorry, banning out Kufra into the previous game. And this time I'm going to criticize them for not banning out Kufra. Because if you know they have a Kufra, why are you banning out a Carmilla? Because I don't feel like your team composition is weak to a Carmilla, especially considering the fact that there is no chip. There is no chip in your team. Most of your teammates can run away anytime Carmilla uses the curse of the blood. Like look at it, Katot has AOG and Unbreakable. Hilda has movement speed, and right now they're picking up the link. So I did not understand why did they ban out the Carmilla over the Kufra. Pretty interesting, but a really good improvement. Astral Genesis, finally, they have a really good draft. And picking up Phobia TXP, this match is going to be interesting finally.
You know, I was just gonna say the link is open. So, and I was kind of sure that Team Guard they might be going in for an assassin, jungler right there because they picked up the Hilda, and Hilda is a menace to our assassins. We all know. Same goes for the good old Kacha. Even he can join in for the early game aggro with that. His taunt and his passive is absolutely crazy. So yeah, I think the same thing went into the heads of Team Astral Genesis. They kind of predicted that there might be a link coming in because what is the jungler even left for them? Bane was left out, Hayabusa is banned out, Suya is banned out, Alpha is not onto the grab. What else? So yeah, I think that was a really smart move. And with that, like especially movies will be benefiting quite a lot into this game because Hilda can dash, our Gitukacha will be dashing quite a lot. Xavier can dash, of course Link, he literally survives on those dashes. So yeah, a really great game, a really delicious game for our movies.
Yeah,
So yeah, both the
really.
drafts are really set in, but then Ray, you know, I really want to ask you which draft do you like more because at this point I really love both of them.
Hmm. Well, I'll answer your question soon because of here we're heading into the land of dawn for Blazing Championship Season 1 quarterfinals. And this is the best of three final game being stretched out. And it's Astral Genesis versus Team Yak. Let's see who wins out this series post game three. And with that, to answer your question, I'll be going with Astral Genesis draft because I feel like they have a lot of crowd control and a lot of good options. But at the same time, I won't underestimate the Link because he can easily take down Xavier. And okay,
True, but just look at the engages, poking happening left and right. I think the team, even though they have counter picked each other, but then again, there is someone or there is something which actually counters the counter pick which is picked to form the enemy. I mean, like there is a Kufra for the link. But then again, there will be a Vexana terrorizing him, trying to stun lock him for a few seconds if she actually prioritizes him. Meanwhile, the Ling actually takes down the priority target, so yeah, it actually comes down to the execution.
Exactly, top lane, Tempest Blade being used. Alpha wants to go in, wants to take someone down, and okay, the first one into the list, the first blood, might be coming up quite soon. But looks like both of the teams playing the safe game. Kofra coming into the play as well. Does not commit to anything just yet, not level 4. And Ling, you better watch out because there's a Xavier, but he's not level 4 just quite yet either. I don't really understand why Ling is on that HP. Like, that is really, really risky. Ling.
True, true. And then again, I think that was kind of a waste of time because he could have definitely recalled before, come back into the clutch. Meanwhile, just look at Alpha now. He has the free time to start the turtle, to poke the turtle. The team is also there, right, for the help. And with that, Ling will be just going on for his blue and the red because he really needs that before he actually starts to engage. So I think in this time, Astral Genesis do have the upper hand, but they are just testing the waters right now. They do not want to start the dance for the turtle actually engaging onto it. And yeah, just at the same time, if you see, just look at that. This time it is Team Gyat with a better rotation. Just look at Granger already being there, trying to provide that support which you need. Meanwhile, Bruno just farming up towards the bot lane. Both have their own priorities. And at the top lane, of course, it will be Kata getting bullied from Phobias.
Exactly. Gurkata just does not do well against the Phobius. Phobius will be winning out most of the matchup until Gurkata gets a few stacks into her Thunder Belt and gets a little sustained. But Alpha, he completely abandoned the idea of the turtle. And Kufra also really I feel like there's a mistake. I feel like someone should have stayed into the turtle. But anyways, they're finally into the scene. Let's see if there's a play coming in. AOG does get used. Turtle gets into the hands of Ling. It looks like the first blood will be Choso
Oh,
onto this alpha. Vexana takes the kill into Zentoria. Phobius secures the kill into Wanna Suck My Balls on Ling. And Phobius, he is trying to retreat as much as possible because Granger is coming into the play as well. He's going to get stunned. Okay, 4 people being knocked up, but there is just a lot of damage onto Raiden, not Shogun, gets taken down.
that was a very, very weird gameplay, a huge mistake coming in. And just look at Link trying to dive in without the blue. I think that's not the best option once again. Link wasting a lot of time. And then at the same time, Alpha, you had that free opportunity to take down that turtle. You had your team. Link was just going for his blue. He was going for his red. You should know that Link really needs that blue, especially the second blue, because the turtle was delayed. Why didn't you start? You do have the upper hand. You have an alpha, which is quite sustainable. You have a Phobius who can actually counter out a lot of people right there. But just look at that.
Okay, bot lane, Cobra barely survived it. And yeah, just like you mentioned, Ling was wasting a lot of time, but at the same time, Alpha was like, I can do a little bit better, and I'll just not pick the turtle at all. I'm just gonna waste a little bit more time as well because this is a good criticism because after all, as a player, you really need to take these little things into consideration, especially if you're against certain heroes. I mean, if it was a different hero, let's say maybe a Suyo, that would have been a good decision because Suyo doesn't need the blue buff, but Ling, he really needs the blue buff. Without the blue buff, you have the upper hand, and they just gave it away and the turtle, as well as the kills, went into the hands of Team Gap right now. And because of it, let's see which team will be able to win it out.
I mean, true. And then again, if you see the initiations, Kufra is actually waiting for others to give the wish, or maybe to give him an opportunity to use the turret's revenge. But just look at that bouncing ball coming on to Vixana. There is not a wall where he can actually use. Plus, it will be a waste to just use it on one person. And then again, the next turtle has also spawned up, but this time it will be both the teams contesting, and it might be a bit hard because Hilda is out there for the zoning.
Okay, AOG comes in. Alpha does get the turtle, but at the cost of his life, he gets taken down Zenturia as well into the next chopping block. And right now, Obvious was looking for a target, but he might be the target himself because he is getting quite taunted. But okay, Vixana does not get taken down. Not enough damage by the save here. And the blue buff is being taken down by All right, off cam kill. Bruno secures the kill into the Granger, but Phobius is still fighting, and Oi will get taken down and by Raiden. All right, Link, that was a really bad misplay. He might get punished and taken down here, but he does have the dashes to get out of the situation. And even if he didn't even get the blue buff, Ling just not having the best of his time right now. Okay, Kufra uses the Tornado Eye to. That is the first time I've seen that combo, but it actually worked out because I'm falling for you will fall into the hands of Hayden 1719.
Can I say at this point, just look at a Bruno actually diving first onto the face of those kills coming from a Granger, and just a death sonata is needed for the last kill, but I don't think so. He will. Maybe he's like, he doesn't have the energy, and
What
maybe
is
he's not sure
happening?
of the aim. But, but
Except for Alpha,
looking,
everybody has the blue.
yes. Xavier might be saying that, just give it to me, I will be dishing out more damage than you can. So yeah, with that,
I'm
actually
the
the
strongest.
macro is still in the hands of Team Astral Genesis because they do have one turret lead onto their hands. Meanwhile, just look at Bruno. He's like, "You take my minions from the bot, I will take it from the mid lane," and he doesn't know Hilda is there waiting for him. He might get surrounded, but then again, Kufra, what are you doing in the bot lane? Maybe they do not want to protect their marksman. They just want to protect their mates.
Okay. Into the bot lane, Eternal Guard coming.
I think Ray is facing some issues. Let me take the play-by-play. And with that, just look at Ahila still, waiting out in the bush. And it will always be Kufra and Xavier always together. Meanwhile, Link just invading the jungle right there, taking the orange to onto the grab. And Xavier with the blue just trying to clear up the lanes as they actually lost out the second tier out the bot lane. And the rest of the team also heading down. But then again, look at the Xavier versus Kacha, the way they show it. No one disturbs the XP laners in the 1 versus 1.
Indeed. Indeed. And okay, looking at the items, Bruno does get the Malefic Gun, which is really good for him to scale up. And Granger going in for the Sky Piercer as well as the Rose Gold, playing the offense and defense at the same time. And Ling does get their hands into the Berserker's Fury and the Heartless as well. So most of the players have gotten their second tier items. Kufra and Hilda are the only ones who are left behind slightly. But alright, Xavier is also a little bit behind because look at that, he hasn't completely built up the glowing one just yet. He should probably sell up the necklace and get the gold he really needs. Other than that, classic itemization on all ends, but okay. Alpha, a clever itemization. He does not want to get taken down by the magic damage, but at the same time, there is a Ling, there is a Hilda. Are you prepared for that as well? Because you need to take care of that. But okay, into the map, nothing much is happening. We're seeing a slight bit of gold lead into the hands of Team Giyattt. And see what happens into this engage, because look at that, it's the top lane, they're all gathering. They're just contemplating, do we want to engage or not?
But they might even do because Hilla is always there trying to provide some zone and trying to provide some vision she actually needs. And Xavier, just look at the damage coming in. Oh, the bouncing blow actually countering out and Link's dash right there, and he getting immobilized, but he will be able to escape because the damage from Bruno is not enough right now. But then, they actually just push down the bot lane now. They might just be aiming for the top lane. That's why they are gathered right there. But look at the damage coming in, and Karukacha will actually be able to. Okay, what was that ultimate coming from Okubra? He is between 4 people. He will be taken down. At the same time, Raiden will also be taken down by the AOTG right there. And just look at the damage coming in from Joso. Joso going in with the Spear of Alpha. And with that, it will be a kill on to Zorion by a Hades. Hades taking that second kill onto Zeno. Bruno, what is that
Damn.
positioning? And just look at Xavier in a very tight situation right there. He will be taken down by Jin Mori. Jin Mori playing that. What's that? It was God of High School. His best place right there.
Okay, 7-10 score, 2000 gold lead again into the hands of Team Giyattt. Okay, Alpha misses out the spear of Alpha himself. And alright, Eternal Guard being baited out, but it does have the low cooldown because Vexana went in for the cooldown build, which is what you really want to go for. So good decisions on all parties. And right now, the Lord does have the advantage because Team Giyattt, they have the mid control, they have the mid turret taken siege already. So and Kufra, he's making slight lot of misplays, and also the fact that Joso despite being alpha, has not taken a single kill yet. It's really, affecting his ability to do anything in this game much. And Obvious, he is, and Obvious, I feel like, yeah, Obvious, Bruno, and Xavier, they need to watch out their positioning because they are the stepping stones that can lead their team to victory. They need to not play that aggressive and make sure to maintain that safe distance. I do understand Phobius is the frontliner, but at the same time, they can play it safe
Okay.
because you don't want
Okay,
to
the
do what
launching
I
bot
did.
coming in. Which is that positioning? You will be taken out by Jin Mori right there. And look at the AOTG connecting onto four people. Everyone is trying to just disengage, but I think Xavier is in a very tight position. Hades will be taken down. Alpha trying to dish out some damage from his first kill. And the Revitalize is right there in the clutch of time to save your life. And with that, two members down from the side of Team Astral Genesis might be an easy lot for Team Giyattt because Alpha is getting zoned away hard. Movies cannot dive in, but Bruno, what is that positioning? Why are you there all alone? You will be taken down between three people. He's getting the taunts, he's getting the skill, and just look at the Tempest of Blades. Actually, kind of a waste because it was an easy kill for a Ranger.
Usually, I'd say Bruno is so OP, but the last two games, Bruno hasn't been able to do anything, which is crazy to say the least. Looks like the teams are catching up to the Bruno meta and they're able to deny. And I feel like Ranger is just overall the better marksman due to the fact that his spam ability is much, much more stronger than everybody else. But anyways, the Lord will be marching down into the mid lane. This is the Luminous Lord, so it means that it has that enhanced basic attack to go into the turret, which means that their inhibitors are right now in a massive danger. But all right, Team Giyattt, what are they doing? They are not really gathering, but okay, Vexana and Gatut, they have decided to go in for the bot lane. Ling had decided to go in for the blue buff. Okay, AOG.
ATG coming in right there, and it will be a kill secured by the hands. The Tempest of Blade into the dive line, diving in the back lines, but it will be instead him who is taken down way too engaged right there. He couldn't even catch up those blades, but then again, just look at that. The first the inhibitor taking down from the mid lane. Things not looking good for Team Astral Genesis right now because they will be facing the minion pressure. But then again, there is this one thing like you did get the Lord, why not sync those lanes? The lane sync was absolutely horrible from the side of Team Giyattt.
Yeah, that is a point that I forgot to mention. The lane sync was quite it was not good. They could have taken down the bot lane, this turret right during that siege, and they could have filled more pressure. Because look at that, it's standing with 1 HP, and because of that, your minions will not be able to attack the inhibitor just quite yet. You could have built that pressure, as well as the fact that top inhibitor is also getting taken down so low. You could have taken down that as well instead of prioritizing the mid lane, which would have taken down by the Lord itself. I feel like they could have focused into the side lane and built a little bit more pressure because the team would be busy defending the mid lord and they would be a little bit split apart and you could have gotten a few kills just like you mentioned. But yeah, that was a slight bit of mishap from Team Giyattt. But let's see what happens because right now they should probably focus into the bot lane as well as the top lane. And let's see what happens. The damage is coming up and it will be a little bit too soon for the game to
Okay.
end. Yeah.
The Eternal Guard actually dropping in. Just look at the rise. And Cobra will just be gunned down by the Death Sonata right there. The Downing Light coming in, but the damage from Xavier isn't enough at this point as the turret was just standing like a lost leaf in a storm, actually taken down with that 1 HP. I'm sad for you, my dear turret. No one cares about you. You were
Yeah.
trying the hardest. And with that, the blue can deny to our alpha. Things not looking good for them. And finally, Athena getting put in because we did see how much damage does Vexana deal right there. And kind of surprising, like, if we could see the builds, like, why is the Athena so late into the grasp? I mean, he doesn't have so much. Just look at him. The gold isn't enough. He did go in for the Dreadnought armor because a lot of damage is there, even from our, what is it? A Granger. So yeah, I think what's done is done because it will be another easy lot for the side of Team Giyattt right now because the side of Team Astral Genesis are actually just, caved in into the base in this game.
Exactly, Asuya. And I feel like no offense to Team Astral Genesis, but I feel like Team Giyattt could have won out the previous game as well if they did not underestimate the potential that Team Astral Genesis had, and because of it, in the previous game they were not able to do anything. But in this game, it's quite clear that they had the better roster, and this game got extended a little bit too much. in my humble opinion at least. And hopefully they learn into it a little bit more because they will be proceeding to the semifinals, and it is gonna be quite gruesome if you make these silly mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes that they have done into this game, and hopefully they learn from them, because after all, if you learn from them, you can become a stronger team. You can give us even better dominating games, and you can go toe to toe against the ones who are in the throne. But anyways, AOTG.
True, just look at the damage coming in. The Lord is also marching down, and it will be Joseph who will be able to manage to take down our Vexana. And look at the way Ling is getting melted down right there. But Jin Mori will be securing that kill onto Joseph, the Dawnling Light coming in, and actually Kurotkacha in barely surviving in 1 HP. A successful defense of a 16 minute Lord right there with a miracle. Team Astral Genesis actually losing out there. Both the inhibitors, but then again, they will be facing the minion pressure.
Asya, what did Xavier say to Gatotkacha?
What?
What did Xavier say to Gatotkacha?
I do not know.
Oi. Yep, that is basically what he said when Gatotkacha somehow survived at 1 HP.
Actually,
But mid lane,
is really low, but he will be taken down in this. But AOTG
Oi.
coming in as the defense. Coming into clutch right there, but just look at the damage from the Eternal Guard coming in so high right there. Raiden almost getting melted down. Does he have any defense item? Like, he really needs the magic defense. People actually underestimate the damage coming from our Vexana.
he doesn't have anything. Okay, he finally.
Okay.
Did you listen? I saw 2 items being just sold immediately as we spoke. That is crazy. Raiden in the voice chat, guys, because he's listening. That is crazy. That is crazy. The amount of
I think Athena would be better than a Radiant. What do you think? Especially after the nerf, Radiant, not much useful unless you are the tank.
He is kind of taking the tank role, which I kind of agree. But at the same time, yeah, Athena as well would be really good. But I feel like he's going for perhaps an immortality. Perhaps I feel like that is the recipe for immortality. And with that, we'll have to wait out and see. Bruno does have a lot of good items. He should probably get a rose gold instead of Windtalker, I feel like, because there's a lot of damage coming in from a lot of people, but at the same time, understandable. Windtalker, you want the attack speed. Other than that, everybody has the classic itemization alpha, which is semi-tank build with the war axe, and the standard builds are almost completed. Okay, the base should probably be monitored soon. The Lord, okay.
OTG coming in, and right there, it might be our Xanthoria, who is getting melted down right there. But then again, Ling to the rescue, going in, diving in with the Tempest of Blaze right there, trying to missing out those blade actually. So yeah, with that, the final Lord has been taken. The lane sync once again, I think, is absolutely horrible, because you should have stayed the mid lane right there, because just look at the top lane, it just stayed up right there. So the minion pressure won't be equalized from all the sides. The next Lord is actually spawning up. So yeah, maybe the next lane could be synchronized unless Vexana decides to take those minions down, and yes, she does. But then again, I think this might be the last lane in the coffin. It's just a 19-minute Lord right there. It is pretty hefty. They do have a lot of lane tier, especially when there is a Xavier in your team, and you need to defend the base. It's the best which you can do. The AOTG coming in, not connecting onto anyone, but it will be Bruno who will be taken down right there. They're trying to dive behind for Hades. Hades will be able to survive, but it is a double kill for our Ling right there, and it is a triple kill onto Raiden. And of course, with that, the base's HP was also locked down, and the victory goes to the hands of Team Giyattt.
What did the Gatotkacha say to Xavier when he died?
Bye bye.
Oi. All right. Jokes aside, best of 3 quarterfinals going into game number 3. What do we take from this series and this game? Well, I feel like it is mostly the draft that is playing a massive part, and it's not a coincidence. Granger picked 3 times, and a team that picked Granger won it out. The previous game, Astral Genesiz picked up the Granger, so looks like the Bruno meta is over and Granger meta is here. But in all honesty, I feel like Astral Genesis were lacking a little bit onto the drafting into the first game. They gave it out for no reason. I feel like the draft, if they did this draft into the first game, they could have won it out simply, or could have at least given it more tougher competition and not made Team Giyattt underestimate them. It is a strategy that they work for, but at the same time, you don't want to, think, make the enemy underestimate you and then show your whole cards, because when this happens, the opponent team is going to bring out all of their cards as well. So it's better to just go in